Hello everyone, my name is Colm Sweeney here, and today we're on our last little painting. It's the sixth little painting in our series of little paintings, and this one here is of a beautiful meadow field. So get out your yellows, reds and blues and your brushes and paint along with Colm here in Castleblaney. Thank you. Today I'm going to show you how to make a nice happy little meadow with lots of flowers and stuff in it, and it'll finish off the little series. We had a series of 1, 2, 3 mountains and landscape, and then we went into all our yellows, which you'll see, which is all our nice yellows and reds. And all I'm using is yellow, a little bit of red and a little bit of blue, as you'll see from the video. And I have some colours mixed here that I'll be using to not let them go to loss. So get out your brushes. Very simply, I'm only using the 1-inch brush and a couple other little brushes that I'll show when we get to them. I have a blender and maybe a little bit of good solid paper for cleaning your brush on. This is kitchen towel, which is, I think, is the best. So we'll start off with a happy little sky, and what we'll do is we'll just, as we stun the sky, and we're keeping this little series as simple and straightforward for everyone to enjoy, from the very beginner to somebody that is at it a little while longer. And we're all beginners. I'm at it over 40 years and still count myself a beginner, still looking out there for different ways and means of painting. And that's what you need to think of all the time. Never think that you're too good to help anyone, that you're just having fun and enjoying and learning a little bit more all the time. And my father used to say, it's a good day, learn something new. So hopefully today you learn something new. So what we're going to do then is put in our little sky, and it's flowing around here. And I'm sticking with our ultramarine blue. And I'm letting it, as you notice, it run a little bit on the paper. And you could see this is a very type of maybe a watercolour technique. But you can use any kind of technique when you're painting. Don't be put down till using techniques that don't work for you. This works for me, and it's shared with you to show that you can just blend it in like this here, right like that there. And of course we're thinking of a nice meadow field and maybe nice few little clouds tripping along there as we get closer to the paint, or to the meadow. So this is our sky, and it's flowing around. Remember, it's rolling and lots of stuff. And if you were growing up in my time, and we had meadows and we'd be at the hay, and sometimes you'd be tired working the hay and you'd lie down and just watch the sky go by. So lie down there and watch the clouds go by and have a little fun watching that. Now I'm going into my lemon yellow, yep. And down here I'm just going to splish and splash and have some fun. See, I'm not committing myself to anything at this particular time, or I don't want you, if you're painting along with me, to commit yourself to any other than taking some lemon yellow out, some water, and having a splish splashy time, like having a fun with your paint. I love this little meadow scene because today a lot of farmers like myself, I keep sheep, and we have mountain land, and it's lovely in lockdown to walk up onto the mountains and watch the sheep after having their lambs there, and lambs playing and jumping about the place, and it's brilliant, and jumping through the flowers, and life is so new to them that we forget about these type of things when we're rushing to work, rushing to here. And of course the world all stopped for a few months now, and everybody is starting. So I'm just having fun here, putting on some lemon yellow, which is, you can see, and hopefully this will be our big meadow park. It's blowing in the wind and it is a lot of flowers. And as I was saying about a meadow park, we had them when growing up. Now people are getting paid to let a little bit of the meadow alongside your field for the bees and the birds and all the animals that we need to survive. It's not much odds big fields if we're not around here. We can have massive fields, but if we're not around to farm them because we killed off all the wildlife, not so good. So hopefully that you'll get out now and lie and look up at the sky and see all the things in your meadow field. I'm going to take a little bit of white now, and I'm just going to put a big floater of a cloud here. Yeah, a big floater. And I'll just clean my brush a little bit more there. and get that big floater in. And she's floating along here, just like that. Whoops, big. Looking up at the sky, and she's pressing over like that there. And don't worry if they get a little bit of yellow or anything into your colours, that's okay, that can happen. They're happy accidents. All you have to do is blend them in nicely to your painting, because there's going to be a big meadow feel here, and we're not going to be too... See, that's how you blend with your fingers, the big soft cloud floating along there. We're not going to put no shadow into this because there's no shadow today in our lives. This is nice open field when we were lying it when we were small, looking up at things go by. So we have our nice little separation there between, but if we took that yellow, just a little bit of yellow, and a little trick I'll show you, and just go up into the, see what happens when you go up into the sky? Yep, it starts to turn green without even putting any colour on your palette. Your green reflects against, and this is the great thing about acrylics, things start to go green without even putting them green, because that's a reflection of one colour against another. So we're going to keep this bright there in this part of the paint, and down here hopefully we're going to take a little bit of blue, and we're going to put in some big long plants that are growing here. Could be rushes, it could be stems for flowers, it can be anything. This is a very free flowing type of a painting to do, and that's ultramarine blue. Anyone that wants to find out what colour, and see how you run up and how it changes until a green. That's magic of the paint happening right in front of your eyes without even mixing it on the palette. I have the three colours sitting there, see, not one of them have touched each other yet, but yet I'm getting these lovely colours happening here on my palette or on my canvas, and this is what's amazing about it. So you're running up nicely and you're letting them, all these things happen. This is your stress-free day. You're not going to have any stress with this little painting, only lots of fun producing it and having fun. I get even a bigger canvas. This is a small, get a big one and get big brushes. People say to me, what size of brush do you need when you're making a big canvas? A bigger brush, a big brush, and plenty of paint, and get it out there and have an hour of just splashing away with colour, and it'll really do you justice. You'll feel so good after. I don't know how many times I've done this painting with different people, and they never put a brush to paint at all, and they could do this one here, and they felt so good. It took them back to their childhood, and took them back to when they were growing up in different parts and farms, and maybe they even lived in the city, and they would say to me, well, you know, that takes me back. I can't understand that drawing flowers would take me back to somewhere that maybe in your dreams of lovely flower garden. See how I'm just going up. Now there's another little trick you can do too, and if I can find my little card, I'll show you how to just scrape out, and look what happens now. You're starting to put life and light into that whole paint. See? That's simple, like that there. Isn't that just brilliant? I don't know how many times I do that there, and that every time I do it, I just feel, oh, that's brilliant, because these are the little techniques. Now, just in case that there would be that you wouldn't have, I'll get my little tube again that I was showing you. It can be, I normally keep an old tube for this, and I can do it with an old tube paint too. See, I can scrape out. So, big thing is, oh, I don't have that column, I don't have a knife, I don't have this. Everything's there. Just you need to look around, and once I showed you, then you'll all have it. So you can see like that there. So we're running the paint against the yellows, and it's giving that lovely bright reflection. Now remember, don't kill all the yellow in it, because if you kill the yellow in it, it doesn't stand out as good. And I've seen some people done that, and they were a wee bit shocked that it didn't brighten as bright as they thought it should be. Just don't kill the yellow in it, and you keep a little bit of yellow. Now we're going down, darkening this off a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little bit of darker green, and I'm just going to take the yellow this time, because I want to make it dark green, see? And I'm just using one of these little cake trays. This little tray is an apple tart tray. You can use anything for painting. You don't have to go out and buy dear palettes. So I'm just darkening off a little bit of the ground there, and not really darkening. I'm just using a little bit of blue, a little bit of lemon yellow. Look at the lovely green that makes. Isn't that powerful? Just like that. And that throws them away far back again. So maybe it's going all the way up into the sky. I don't know. It's crazy when you're down lying down looking up at all these things. And maybe they're a big bee flying past, so you don't know, butterflies, and you see a lot of things happening, and that's what you want to do. They're down here, the little ants and ladybirds and hares and all the things that go on a meadow happening in there. Thousands and thousands of little animals that of course the big mowing machine comes along and cleans them out of it. So that's why we need to be careful. So we just let that dry a few seconds, and what we do then is what we were doing on the little flower pot, we do something similar. So it's a little taking one technique along to the next technique and just discovering what should we do. Well, today I'm going to put a big few flowers in, and I'm just going to show you how to do that in case you didn't see. And what I've done is just, I'm putting plenty of paint on this. I'm really being brave on this one. So see, and I'm putting a big flower in like that there. This is the greatest little way. Now, I have thousands of different ways of doing painting flowers, but I sit down and it's a little bit more time taken, and it's not as rewarding as doing something. So the big bravery test, where's my big flower? Here she is, there she is, there, flowing in the one. I think that flower needs just a little bit more white. So I maybe stick another big one here. Just 3 or 4, you want to put 4 little leaves on it, you can. You can put a big field of flowers, and really up here, see how it went white that time, pink. See how the two colours begin pink, and that happens when you're painting this. You start to see colour, and it starts to create colour for you. So all I'm doing is pressing the brush just against it. One of the loveliest little ways of painting flowers. Then I'm going to go for a little bit of yellow on this flower. Yeah, we'll try it. Maybe there's a nice big yellowy orangey flower here, and we'll put him in like that. See how he comes in, or she, whatever you want to call him. Maybe there's another one here. Oh gosh, we have loads of big flowers growing and playing in the wind. And I mean, if you're out walking along rivers and walking along the streams, and you see nature, how it works, it's just unbelievable. All the different purples and blues and reds that happen in nature. You get them all in here by just adding. I put a little bit of blue now onto the red, and I made a lovely big darker kind of a flower. See how she's sitting there darker? Isn't that brilliant? Not very hard, that is it? That's brilliant. Here, maybe I'd one here too as well. See how I'm just picking out different spots of the painting to put them in. Now I'm going to go back now to this brush here which I was working, and I'm going to chisel brush, and I'm going to just go into white with it, and I'll make a couple of different little flowers. And these bios are like this here, see? Like that. And they're just popping up around here. And if you put them in the dark part of your painting, which might be down here, see here, they're smaller, might be daisies, little daisies growing, you don't know, along the way there. They're all living happily in this little painting anyway, tipping it around, flying. It actually could be a little butterfly, it doesn't have to be. Then make them a little bit bigger. See, they're just growing there wild. Very important to talk to yourself and have a bit of fun when you're doing these things, and take yourself back and maybe put a little tip into them. Now I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that white, yes, just for the fun of it, to see what happens. I'm not going to say, oh, you can't put that colour there. No, you can, because there's so many different colours of flowers out in this time of the year that you can't be wrong. It's like a sunset. Or maybe you invented a new flower that would not be better. Now they'll say, oh, there's Colm's flower, like a star called after him. You know, he invented that flower. Yep, like Monaghan and his lily ponds. Maybe you're inventing your own flowers and your own garden. And sometimes it's funny when we're running a class before the lockdown. We had a lot of people with lovely gardens, and they had all their names and these big long Latin names and stuff on them. But it's lovely to hear that there's so many, so there's a lot, and that is very important too as well, to have appreciate everyone's little luck on things. So you can see we're tapping them in. Now I'm just going down here again and I'm going into my dark colour. Yeah, you don't like to hear me going into my dark colour, but I'm just going in here and I'm making that really dark, lovely green again, because I just want to darken this down. And see, every time I darken it, it's like a shadow, it's like you're walking through, and see that, and that there is very important there. And a wee bit of that dark up here too, just like that here. There's splattering around of darkness. It could be branches, it could be anything, it could be an old tree tapping up there, it could be anything. So you know yourself when you're in this flame of mind and you're doing a lovely painting, and you're seeing all these things when you go out and walk in nature, and you be trying. Another one I love doing too is the woods, walking through the woods, and we've done that walking, and that might be a little series that we'll look at, because you're drawing big trees and you're walking into the forests, and so many people down through lockdown started to go into the woods and into the trees again, and see nature in a different way. So I think that's why they really appreciate when you're doing this type of a painting. And again, if you maybe wanted to try this one first before you try the pot of flowers, well, the videos will be going out when Aoife and Glenn has them all organised, and maybe in the winter time you get, when it's cold, you can sit down and remember the lovely big flowers that you seen, and get out there and paint them. Now I'm going to take some blue, some blue, and I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to do a big serious flower now coming up, and that's going to be here. See, I can see him here. See that big boy there? Whoops, there he is there, and it's just 2 dabs of a brush, and I see he has a big friend that's up above him there, and put him in. See there? Now maybe one more big friend here. You can see, sometimes you start to see these things and you want to put them in. It's amazing, isn't it, when you're doing this, you see all these things and you want to put them in. Put them in, that's all you have to do. So down here then I have a few darker big trees, and I put them in with this brush, and all I'm doing is turning. See? Turn and turning, and these are lilies or whatever. Turning, turning and turning. These are darker, they're down in the dark part of our scene, so there could be in there like that there. And then they're just change that, a little bit of blue and a little bit of red, and I just tap in a few more little them type of boys. Tapping them around the place in here in the dark part of her. And this adds dividends till when we get till our, it could be butterflies, it could be anything happening here, couldn't it? Down in this part of flying around, there'll be butterflies flying around. See, when you think nature, you start to see things start to happen, and that's very important in a time of so much trouble in the world, that you can sit down and create just what you want, a little scene, a little happy scene of I remember doing a class, and one of the girls put all butterflies. She put all butterflies into her painting. That was okay. I enjoyed seeing her drawing her butterflies, because the flowers looked like butterflies. She's decided that she would have a whole field of butterflies flying around the place, and that's nature again, showing other people see it different. And a little bit up here, so you can see that I'm putting in all types of different flowers happening along the way. A little bit more dark. Now when we're doing this little series, we done a few of landscapes. You can put flowers into the landscapes too, along the roadside. So when you see and you're finished your landscape and you leave it to one side, maybe there's a little spot in it that you want to put some of these paintings or some of these flowers and stuff happening, which is up to everyone, as I say. Remember, and what I'm doing here now is just putting in little bits of pieces in the ground, shrubbery, like that, and darkening this off. So when I darken it off, it fires it back in, it fires the painting. And if you learn anything from these paintings, learn about the distance and the darkness that creates by doing. See how you're looking through the field, and the yellow now as if the light was shining way over there, and that's very important to show to people. Now I'm going to put a few more in, and then as that will be kind of coming to the end, and hopefully when these go out, that everybody will have good fun doing their little, I keep seeing them. I would end up with a whole load of little boyos here and there and in the painting. So you can have a whole load of little different flowers, and if you feel like you want to name them, or if you want to put names on them, be brave, and you can maybe roses. I don't like roses, are a little bit harder to do. I do a series of roses. I do a series on all different types of flowers, but this one I like to do because it joins in and it gives everyone just to have a splashing time. And I think that's what it's about when you're lying down in your field and you're looking back at all the colours, that you can capture them. So I hope you all have a happy time painting flowers, sunsets and landscapes, and enjoy now life as we come out of this dreadful time and add a little bit of colour. So that's over and out from Colm, Sweeney here, and Castle Blaney today. Thank you everyone for joining in. So thank you to all.